closing in on these guys a little bit. Hornaday in the third spot there.
There's your top three. Bodine, Peters, and Hornaday. Johnny Sauter, Austin Dillon running fourth and fifth.
Look at the difference in speed between Todd Bodine and the lap truck of Norm Benning. Norm just trying to get up and get out of the way, but Todd had to predict where Norm was going to go. I'm glad he figured out where he thought he was going, and it worked out.
And that's a situation where if Todd was to have to catch that truck at the wrong spot, then all that distance he has right now over Timothy Peters would have been gone.
See the separation now between your top three trucks and fourth Sauter. Sauter 2 seconds back from Bodine.
Well, we've got two of the most experienced drivers here at this racetrack running first and third, and they're sandwiched around the pole sitter and a cat that's obviously proven this year that he's a real contender in this series, and that's Timothy Peters. Schrader struggled all night long. He's battling here for the 9th and 10th spot with Eric Almirola. Eric's looking like he's a little faster than Kenny.
Yeah, remember, Schrader had to battle adversity early on before the green flag even flew. He couldn't get the truck to start.
Kenny came down pit road one time, and the crew had ratchets in both rears and the right front adjusting on that truck.
Yeah, I think he said, I don't know what's wrong with it, and they said, well, we're going to work on it and find out if we know what's wrong with it.
We'll try to help you figure it out.
You go into all those corners of a race truck, you're just trying to change the way that truck is balanced. Maybe the way it's driving, the way the aero package is even working. You're doing anything you can think of to help Schrader out. Maybe trying to lower the front end a little bit.
Dillon has really made his pit stop work the best. He's already up to the 5th position. Compton came in on the same strategy, but he's stuck in 8th.
The problem is that didn't work because now these guys aren't going to stop. If we hadn't gotten all the the caution laps that we got, and all these guys would have had to stop, then that strategy may have won Austin Dillon the race. But the problem is with all the caution laps, not nobody's going to pit.
And the top crew chiefs in this race, the guys that are leading the race, they said, we reserve our right to change our mind. We decided we didn't want to pit now, and that's what we're going to stick with. But remember, Phil, we're inside 10 to go. Having enough gas to get all the way to the checker isn't a given. We could see some of these guys in the front run out of gas.
I was going to say, at the beginning of our show, we talked with Todd Bodine about, do you go for the win or do you protect your point lead? Would you come in here with a big point lead? Well, right now, they're gambling for the win because the question mark still is for fuel mileage. Can they make it all the way to the end of this race?
Well, I think Mike Helmut Jr. has to be reasonably confident that they can get to the end of this race, or else he would have come in the last time they would have pitted.
Looks like they're ready with a little fuel to shoot in that carburetor in case it does stumble here late in the going.
So I've got it. Don't worry, I got it. If we need it.
I'm the fuel guy. I will fix this problem if it develops.
I will squirt that in the carburetor if we need it.
8 laps of racing to go for Todd Bodine.
And Timothy Peters is heating up Todd Bodine's tailgate, so he can't be saving any gas. These guys have caught Norm Benning again, if that tells you how fast these guys are going.
They didn't that last lap, but as you mentioned, several laps they've run under the old track record, so they're not holding it much back right now.
And there's the biggest distance we've seen between Todd Bodine and Timothy Peters tonight.
I think Timothy got tied up with Norm Benning there off turn 2 a little bit, maybe, because he lost a lot of ground on that lap.
Look, almost 4 miles an hour slower than Todd Bodine on that very lap.
And the lap before that, he was 2 or 3 tenths of a second faster than Todd. And that's exactly what happens when you catch that traffic in the wrong place.
How about Almirola and Timothy Peters trying to reel in Todd Bodine for a championship, and it's really hard to gain any ground on somebody when he wins the race.
It's extremely difficult to gain anything when somebody wins the race.
That statement Todd Bodine made at Nashville looks to be something that is consistent at this point. I wanted to make Ron Hornaday down in the 6th spot still a contender for this championship, but Todd's making it really hard for me to be able to say that anymore.
Almirola all over the back bumper of the 2 of Kenny Schrader.
Looks like he's going to finally get to the inside of Schrader. Schrader lets him go. These guys are just on the back end of the top 10. You can see just ahead of them that's Stacy Compton. So move Almirola up to the 9th spot, and he'll start to try to track down Stacy Compton for that 8th position.
That's 4 more points for Eric Almirola. Remember, came into this race running second. He's running second right now in points as they run on the racetrack. If the race were to end right now, and we're not far from the end.
No, there's only 5 laps to go, and I can't tell you how nervous I am for that team. They didn't think they had enough gas to get to the finish from lap 90, Bill, and now they've decided.
From lap 92.
Yeah, now they think they can get there from lap 76.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's that work?
Timothy Peters currently running second.
You don't think they were whooping us and they just were never going to pit at all, do you?
I don't know. I like that if they were.
Hornaday running in the third spot.
I don't like to get woofed. But these guys have certainly changed their mind on their strategy and the story that they were telling.
Bodine, Peters, Hornaday, Sauter, and Dillon are your top 5. We return to Darlington after the 6-year hiatus.
Remember at the beginning of the show we showed about all the historical finishes we had here. We showed people running out of gas. We showed Bill Elliott running out of gas coming off the last corner. Dale Earnhardt getting by him. All it would take now is a little bit of a caution flag and set up a green-white checker, and the whole shebang should change.
Then can they make it? That's the question. Well, can Todd Bodine and Timothy Peters make it? They have 2 laps to go at Darlington.
Got a little lap traffic laying up ahead there.
They can get to the white flag. That means the next flag will end this race. Todd right now would love to get to that white flag before he sees a yellow.
It was a good break for Todd right there. You could see he didn't lose his momentum while he was lapping by Stout there in that lap truck. He was able to keep it hammer down and even open up his gap over Timothy Peters somewhat.
Timothy Peters going around the slower lap traffic as well. White flag in the air. Todd Bodine gets it. Timothy Peters trying to reel him in. One more lap.
David Starr lays up ahead of Todd Bodine. Looks like Todd's going to have to deal with him, which will allow Timothy Peters to gain on Todd.
Slows his momentum just a bit. We'll see if Timothy Peters can capitalize on it.
Look at that, how much he's moving in.
Todd did a nice job of getting by David Starr. If he would have had to follow him till he got off for 2, it would have been trouble.
The final turn. Todd Bodine comes out of turn number 4. He'll go back-to-back in the Camping World Truck Series. Back to victory lane.
Experience pays off tonight at Darlington. Imagine that.
I just had a feeling it might. But
Here,
Timothy,
boys, I'm proud of you. Way to work your butts off. No burnout, dude. Chicago motor.
There you go.
No burnout, dude.
how impressive was Timothy Peters, though? Came here, did the tire test, never had raced here before, sat on the pole and finished second.
Well, let's give a tip of the cap, too, to Austin Dillon. Got knocked into the wall before lap 10, had to pit early, lost all his track position, gained it back through some great calls on pit road by that team, and was able to lead this race and finishes in the top 5 for his first trip to Darlington, South Carolina. Great job by Austin.
They didn't need any more fuel. There was no problem with that 32.
Was that guy raising the roof?
He was. Ray Dunlap.
Let's hear from the winning crew chief, Mike Jr. I want to tell you, whenever I looked at the championship chase to November, I thought about Darlington and Bristol as being 2 big challenges. I think I was wrong.
Yeah, we love this place. We've been here and tested a ton. Came here with our nationwide car and finished 4th. Todd gets around this place, and you can't ask anybody to work any harder than the guys on this 30 truck. This Germain Tundra's pretty sporty every week. And we just keep digging and keep doing this deal right here, and we'll get to Homestead. Hopefully everything will work out.
17 was the best in practice last week. You beat him. He was the best in practice this week. You guys seem like you don't panic at all, even if you're not at the top of the chart.
You know, we worry more about making our truck drive good for Todd and about being good on a long run later in a race. And I'm just really proud of all these guys. And one of my boys is at a stand-up funeral tonight. Congratulations, Toe and Lindsay.
Hey, one thing more. I saw a set of stickers sitting here. Were you going to pit, or were you just teasing me?
Just teasing you. That's how it worked out in the nationwide race. Since they've repaved this racetrack, track position's a lot more important. So clean air is what we needed, and it all worked out tonight.
Okay, congratulations. Go celebrate. Mike Jr. in victory lane again with Todd Bodine.
I can't believe he was whooping us.
It's the 20th win for Todd Bodine, and guess what? They've all been over a mile. This guy knows how to win on super speedways. It's the 3rd win for Todd Bodine in 2010, tacking on to the Texas and most recently our Nashville win. Get up on that truck, Todd. Welcome back to the track Too Tough to Tame for the Too Tough to Tame 200 in the Camping World Truck Series. Now in victory lane, Todd Bodine will celebrate. He's there with Ray Dunlap.
And here comes the onion out of the number 30 Germain.com Toyota Tundra. He won here in the Nationwide Series back in 2003. Back to victory lane. Got an eye full. Congratulations. I asked Mike Jr. how big of a challenge he thought Darlington would be on a way